For this manicure, I'm going to be using these 3 fine glitter polishes, all on a grey scale. This one is a nice silver, and these 2 are more sort of charcoaly grey glittery polishes. I'm going to be using this one as my main polish, and 2 accent nails, one with this darker charcoal grey and another one which I'm going to do a gradient of all 3 polishes, starting with the silver and then the slightly lighter grey, and then finishing off with the darkest grey. I always find if you're doing a sponge gradient, it helps to have 3 colours or 3 tones of the same colour because it blends better. So it should look a little bit like this, but with a gradient on this snail, and then that again will be on my first finger and on the thumb. So starting with the main polish, this is Lucerne-tainly Look Marvellous by OPI, and it looks to be quite a thin formula. I think, if I'm right, when I did this stick, I had to put 4 coats on to bring up this kind of opacity. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. It may well take 3 good coats of this one to cover nicely, depending on how sheer you want it. But I prefer the more opaque look. I like the colour to really show. As you can see, it seems quite thin and sheer, but it's very sparkly. Very pretty, a nice charcoal grey, lovely silver flecks in it, very, very fine. And this one is My Signature is DC by OPI. And this one is very pretty silver, lovely metallic silver with very, very fine glitter. Again, this is fairly thin. It sort of moves about quite a bit. It's not a very thick formula. And I think if I remember rightly, I've put 2 or 3 coats of this on in the past, when I've used it in the past. Again, it's a very similar consistency, fairly thin, but with lots and lots of very, very fine glitter. And finally, the darker charcoal. This one is by Essie, and it's called Tribal Textiles. And this is a slightly thicker consistency than the other 2. It's still quite flowing, with very, very tiny flakes of glitter. Very, very sparkly. Has a fairly small brush. And remember, when I've applied it before, it has covered quite well in 2 coats. Now I shall apply all the polishes first, before doing the gradient. But I shall apply the silver to this nail. This is the nail where I'm having the gradient on. You should always aim to start with the lightest colour that you use. Or alternatively, if it's a lighter colour that you're using, or it's a relatively bright colour and you really want it to pop, then your first coat can be white, no matter what other colour you put on top. But it doesn't really work so much with dark colours. That's if you've got a bright colour, it just makes that so much brighter. It just makes it really pop. As always, I've started with 2 coats of OPI Natural Nail Base Coat. So this is the result after the first coat. I found that the darker one, the Essie one, went on quite well. That'll be fine in 2 coats. The darker OPI one is quite sheer, so that will at least need 1 more coat. It may well need 3 coats. I'm not going to do a second coat on this one because I'll be doing the gradient on this now. So that's the finished result. So I did in the end have to put 3 coats on the main polish, but that's come up lovely now. So now it's time to do the gradient. So now I shall apply Poshé Fast Drying Topcoat, which is a lovely, really shiny, glossy, gel-like top coat, which will really set this off. And that's the final result. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe and comment, and I'll see you in the next video.